Howdy peeps, welcome back to the channel, and today we have a review. Not an especially new kit, but hey, here we go. The Airfix 172 Boeing B17G Flying Fortress. Now, those of you that know me will probably be wondering why A, I'm buying a 172 Airfix kit, and B, why a Flying Fortress? Well, there is a good reason. I live just a few miles up the road from what used to be Snetterton Heath, is now Snetterton Racetrack, which was a bomber airbase during World War II. And of the planes that flew from there, one was the B-17. And I chose the Airfix kit for a couple of reasons. One, I don't have space for a 148 or a 132, or the money for a 132. And two, it comes with markings not actually from Snetterton Heath, but from another very local airbase, and I can't remember the name of it because it's on the other side of the box over here, which is the box art version. So, well, maybe not the correct airbase, but local enough. So it's local history, and that's as good a reason as any to get one, if you ask me. So let's just have a quick look, see at which one it was. It is Thorpe Abbott's, that's the airbase. The other one is Bassingbourne in Cambridgeshire. Now, this being an Airfix kit, obviously the call outs are all going to be for Humbrol, which the only Humbrol product that ever gets anywhere near any of my kits is Decalfix. I wouldn't let, let's just put it this way, they're sorry, not Decalfix, yeah, that's definitely not going anywhere near any of my kits ever. It's the Maskell is the only one I use. One, I can't be bothered with waiting for enamels to dry. Two, their washes tend to dry solid. You have to clean them up virtually instantly, and you do have to use thinners to get them off, to clean up. So anyway, typical Airfix, all in one big ass bag. So we'll get it all out of the big ass. Warning, do not put this bag over your head. Clear, crunch. The clear parts are in a separate bag, of which there are lots of. So we'll pop those to one side for now. And we'll start with the first sprue which comes out, which is frame G. And I'm looking. There's sensible detail, nothing over the top. A little bit soft, but it's Airfix. For example, things like, let me just zoom you in a little so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Somewhere around there. I'll have to remember to look up. If you can see on this, get a pokey device, paintbrush will do. On these interior parts, I'm guessing radios or some such, the details is, rather than the buttons being crisp and square edged, they're kind of rounded over. But you know, how much is actually going to be visible inside? But then you get to the tyres, and they've got a beautifully crisp tread pattern on them. And pay attention to that tread pattern, and how fine that is, and how nice it is. Because I've got a funny feeling, I'll bring it up so you can actually see it nice and close. Turn it a bit so we catch the light right. Just so you've got a good idea of the delicate nature and the crispness of the tread pattern. Because I've got a funny feeling when it comes to looking at the panel lines, they're going to probably look like something you could fly an X-wing down. But if they can do that on a tyre, why can't they do it on fuselage? Never mind. Next sprue we get is J, which is engine parts. I'm not going to say detail on this. There's a bit of detail there. You paint it up, put a wash on it, it'll look passable. Especially once you've got the cowlings and the props on. How much is actually going to be visible, I don't know. And similar on the back. Lots of ejector pin pads on the sprues, like a Games Workshop kit, rather than on the parts, so that's good. And next sprue is frame F, which again is more interior parts. It does have the guns on it and some of the undercarriagey bits. We're seeing similar kind of theme with the detail, not overly crisp, but yeah, it's there. It'll make a passable B17. And the guns themselves, aside from this one being almost broken off the sprue, the guns do actually look pretty nice. Obviously, you know, they're not drilled through, they haven't got drilled out barrels. But, you know, barrels painted in a oily steel or something, then given a Nuln wash, will pick out all those little details. And yeah, they'll look okay. It's an Airfix kit. We know we're not expecting massively complex levels of detail. Ooh, get it the right way up sharp, you'll be able to read it then. Frame H, I'm guessing most of this is engine parts, as we've got the props on here as well. And yeah, again, pretty clean, nicely moulded. Bit heavy, but you know, whatever that part is that just fell off the sprue, looks a bit like a helmet. Guessing it's some kind of dome or something. Make sure we pop that back in the box so we don't lose it. But yeah, so far so typical Airfix. As I'm guessing this sprue is mainly more engine parts, as there appears to be 4 of everything. And again we have another sprue of interior parts, this being D. And actually really quite nice. Got the main wing spar there, which should help. And another one, and some various other parts. The Bombay door, which is moulded as one, with the line, really rather delicate panel line down the middle of that. And I'm guessing if you want to pose the Bombay open, you saw it in half. If you want it shut, you probably have to cut all the mounting lugs off. But yeah, it's easier to do it that way than mould 2 separate ones. Ejector pin pads being used, which is always nice. It's a little more clean up on the parts, but it does mean, so if I pull up so you can see, you've got the ejector pin pads all around these parts. But then on the big parts, unfortunately, we do have actual ejector pins to deal with. Whether that's the visible side or not, I don't know. I mean, if they're on the invisible side, it's not a problem, but that one does have stuff moulded into it, so those two may well need sorting out. But it's a couple of minutes with the sander and maybe a bit of filler if they are deep. It's not too hard to sort. Finally getting onto some wingy type bits. Frame E. And here's where you'll see what I mean by the panel lines in comparison to the tyre detail. I mean, they're better than they used to be. They're a lot better than they used to be. Maybe not an X-Wing, but you could probably fly a TIE fighter down them. Certainly a land speeder. But again, we've got nice. No, it's solid. It's Airfix. You get what you get. We've got on the flaps, ailerons, up and downy bits on the back of the wings. Let's go with that. We've got some nice dress skin effect where it's where it's probably fabric. Same on. Oh, I'm pointing at parts now that aren't actually in shot. There we go. Same on here with some raised rivet detail. And a bunch of other little parts which I have no idea what they really are. Some of them look more like filter radiators or coolers or something like that, which they may well be. Now we're getting on to the bigger bits. So we have B, which is either, I'm guessing probably the upper wings, might be the lower wings. So here's where you can see the difference between an Airfix kit and, say, a Tamiya. Because these little round bits will be access panels, top up fuel or oil or whatever it happens to be. And on an Airfix kit it's just a moulded circle, whereas if you get something like a Tamiya kit, you get the moulded circle, but you also get the little hinge detail or the bolt or whatever else around it to actually make it look like it should. Well, these nice vents moulded in, I mean they are solid, I think. Yeah, I mean you could cut them out if you wanted to, but I'm not going to bother probably. And then the underside, yeah, eject pin marks, blah blah blah, but not a problem because it's not going to be visible. Piece of flash from something fell off, just off the sprue. Yeah, there's a bit of flash on this sprue as well. And the other side of the wings, similar panel line levels. They're narrower than they sometimes are, or they used to be for the main. I mean, some of the ones around the engine look a bit chunky, but yeah, they're definitely improving. They're slowly getting there. As you can see, it's not going to be a small model. That's why I went 172 rather than 148. And the one that's going to show if there are any problems is the fuselage halves. Now they look okay. As it's a fairly new tool kit, I think it came out either the back end of last year or it came out this year. You're not expecting flash, so we've not got any of that. We haven't got any obvious short shots like the Sea Fury. Not overly blessed with surface detail, but the panel lines are there, if a little soft, and do tend to disappear around the bottom of the fuselage, and yeah, they're not too bad around the top. And on the inside, a lot of this, well, basically all that is interior and then technically is visible through the glass. I'm pointing at bits you can't see here, aren't I? So everything from the nose, which will end up about here, somewhere out of shot, back to about there, is all going to technically be visible. And we do have some fairly sizable ejector pins in here. Whether they're covered by internal details, I don't know. They may well be. I mean, that one looks like it's running in where a part goes. Same with that one. That one could be a pig if it's visible. But yeah, not looking too bad, I have to admit. I mean, obviously it will come down to whether it actually fits together in the end as well. Although again, modern Airfix kits are getting better. They do tend to fit together somewhat better than they used to. Let's have a look at the clear parts. Now this is where we're going to have fun, because I don't intend to buy a masking set. It's not something I bother with. If a kit comes with a masking set, I might remember to use it. Half the time I get the canopy masked and then find the masking set when I'm actually looking for the decals, that kind of thing. So what have we got? Well, it all looks pretty clear. There's no major scuff marks or damage to any of them. Nice and shiny. There is quite a bit of distortion through the curved bits because it's Airfix, it's going to be fairly thick, but they'll do the job. They'll look okay. They won't need, at least now, I mean, by the time I finish with them they may need polishing up. As I say, there's a lot of glass work, and it all does actually look quite good. There's a little bit of flash around this, just around there, but again, no, easy to deal with, easy to sort out. Not like some kits you see where you're not sure where the flash ends and the kit part begins. I think some of the Rebel NASCARs are like that. I think Sam was having trouble with one yesterday. He was looking at it and going, where the hell do I cut? Next we have decals, which Airfix, so decals by cartograph, and they're all they're looking pretty flat, or very flat. They're all in register. There's not a huge amount of extra carrier film around them. See if I can catch them in the light so I can get a better view. Yeah, they'll do the job providing they settle down, which is no reason they shouldn't. The thing is, with it being a bare metal finish, there definitely won't be a varnish going over, or a clear coat going over the metalwork. Not until right at the end anyway. Certainly not before I decal. If you're trying for a natural metal finish, the fewer coats of anything you can put on top of the paint, the better. Basically. Right, it's time to zoom back out again. Oh, that way. There we go. And we have A3 fold out piece with the common stencils, blank on the back. Nice to have that in a decent size so you can, it's clear and you can see everything really easily. Sometimes you get the decal or stencil call outs and it'll be a tiny picture that's about that big, and the thing will have about 200 stencils to put on it. So you end up with stencils everywhere and you're not entirely sure if any of them are in the right place. Then we have the colour call out. This is the one I'll be doing, which is Thorpe Abbott's in Norfolk. And yeah, they're calling out the colours in Humbrol. There's a little note down here that says ongoing research suggests two possible colours, green or blue, for the spinners and noseband. We've included both for the modeller to decide. Right, yeah, okay. In other words, we don't know, so we gave you both. But hey, better to have that choice, because if you find a picture of it and it's got the green, then you put the green on. If you find a picture it's got the blue, you put the blue on. And the other one from Bassingbourn in Cambridgeshire. Pretty similar, just got the red. If anything, it's the prettier looking scheme, but it's not my local one, so I'll be doing the Thorpe Abbott's. And destructions, bit of bump about the plane, range, speed, all that kind of good stuff. The assembly icon instructions, and it's typical modern day, modern up to date Airfix instructions, so real clear, real obvious. Put those two together, get to that step, and that's showing you what you added in the previous step. Get to that one, it's showing you as you go through it, shows you what you did in the previous step, and it all makes sense. They're clear, they're easy to follow. You just make sure everything has gone together properly, especially with a big interior like this, because if you don't get it quite together, you might struggle to get the fuselage halves put together. And we're still on interior stuff. There's a lot of interior in this. And the ball turret, that's going to be interesting trying to glue that together. But no, just go gentle with the TET and job done. Fuselage hulls finally going together in step 55. But there's not a lot, it's one or two parts going together in each step. You soon motor through the instruction book. Wings going on to the fuselage with the wing spars, so you've got locating slots, so they should hopefully line up nicely. Shouldn't be a wing gap. Only place it starts to get a bit busy is with the engines. And you've got the options, but take your time, pay attention to what you're doing, and job done. And you get to here and it's showing you how to do it. The picture of the plane with the wheels down is the clue. This is the undercarriage down version, and over here this is the undercarriage up version. And then more of the undercarriage going together, the rest of the windows and turrets and stuff going in, and finally the props. So altogether, not a bad looking kit. It's pretty much what I'd expect from Airfix. I'd say mildly surprised, and some of the panel line detail is a definite improvement over previous Airfix kits I've built. And you can see they're trying to improve on their moulds. They're trying to get better, which you have to applaud that. Unlike some companies that just sat on their laurels, well, Airfix did sit on their laurels for donkey's years, but they've finally got to the point where they've realised we're not a market leader anymore, we're losing sales, we need to do something about it. So, Airfix B17. Would I recommend one? Can't really say, not having built it. I wouldn't expect any huge fit issues. Nothing more than I'd normally expect from any other plane, pretty much, especially one with as big a fuselage and wings and stuff as this. The bigger you make it, the more room for error there is. But yeah, it's one, once I get it done, I'll either film a video, say yay it goes together really well, or nay, yeah, leave this one alone. I had to say that just looking at the marketing shots between this and the Revell, that Revell one looked horrible. There are gaps all over the place that you can even see in their marketing shots. The box pictures, you can see the wing root gaps and the gaps between various panels and all sorts. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed it. If you were thinking about getting one, I hope maybe it's helped you make your mind up. But have fun, enjoy your modelling. Peace out, rock on, and bye bye.